So this article today in USA Today. Cabbage Patch fever burns on. Coleco Industries, the only company licensed to sell the Cabbage Patch dolls, says stores are still selling out of the pudgy-faced dolls within hours of each shipment, despite a jump of about $10 to around $36 each in the retail price. The continuing craze has been attributed to parents fulfilling promises that they made to their children when they couldn't get those dolls during Christmas time, and to the surge in popularity of dolls of all kinds. Well, while dozens of Cabbage Patch Kids and licensed products flood the market across the country, Mike Marine of Chevy Chase, Maryland, an accountant, has published a satire entitled 101 Ways to Get Rid of Your Lettuce Head Doll, which is going to be available in the Washington area next week and in national outlets within a month. The book comes complete with a lettuce head doll death certificate and costs $3.95. So I contacted Mike, who's here in Chevy Chase. Why on earth are you doing this terrible things to these Cabbage Patch dolls, Mike?
Well, actually, Chris, I'm really doing this as a public service to mothers all across the country. I figured that, back in December, that the Cabbage Patch doll was going to be a fad item. And like other fads, like the pet rock and the hula hoop, they eventually end up in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that people are going to have to figure out what they're going to do with the dolls when their kids get bored with them. And then, of course, there are other people, like I think, that didn't buy the doll who just can't stand them, and I think they're going to enjoy this book.
Well, so you say what to do with them. What are some of the things you can do to your to the doll? Now, in other words, what you're saying is they're harder to dispose of than just the hula hoop.
Yeah, they are. Being a doll and, sometimes the emotional attachment that the child has, you have to come up with some, more clever ways to get rid of the doll. Some of the ways that are in the book are that since the doll is a plant or derived from a plant, you can tell your child that it grows best by planting it and plant it 6 feet under.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite ways here, I think people in the local area will appreciate, is to take your doll and dress it up as a Dallas Cowboy and bring it to a Washington Redskins football game.
Won't last long, will it?
No, in fact, we have a picture of the doll in the book with a tomahawk in its head.
Why do you call it the book is called How to Get Rid of Your Lettuce Head Doll. Why didn't you call it Cabbage Patch?
Well, Coleco has been very aggressive in pursuing people who are taking advantage of their trademark, and I don't really want to be sued by them.
But the picture you have in the book is a Cabbage Patch doll.
Well, I think it's a little different. Our doll has lettuce hair, and it's not anything to do with cabbage. It's an entirely different vegetable.
But people make the comparison rather easily.
Yes, it is supposed to be a satire, and I think that hopefully people, the Coleco and people who have the doll will understand. It's basically, for humor intent and really not intended to cut down the product that Coleco's.
You'd be surprised. Big companies don't always have the greatest sense of humor. We, for a long time here, we had our Naugas. Remember that?
Yes.
And we were talking about having Naugas, and people could raise Naugas and all that kind of silly stuff. And the people that owned the patent to Nauga hide were a little worried that we were maybe in some way being detrimental to their product, and we heard from their lawyers as well. So we finally explained to them it was just a joke, but I understand why you have to stay on the safe side. Now, about this death certificate, tell me about that.
Well, in order, I think, really to convince your child, we felt that it was important that since the child does have a birth certificate, that we enclose a death certificate where you can fill it out and have a couple witnesses and present it to your child, who will then understand that the doll is no longer around.
Yeah, it kind of makes it an official ending.
Yes, we do feel that it's important that since there's an emotional attachment, that to have the proper effect, we want to document it.
Mm-hmm. Did you sense there was a public clamoring for this book, Mike, or what persuaded you to write it?
Well, basically, I think that I felt that there's a need for more humor books on the market. That right now, I think there's a tasteless jokes book out, and this book is not totally tasteful, but I think it's in a better light. It's not really cutting down any minority groups or anything like this. So I think people need to laugh.
Well, Cabbage Patch dolls are a majority group.
Well, there are 3 million of them out there, but there are 200 million people.
Oh, yeah.
I think, that this whole thing was a fad. We all got caught up in it. There's a lot of hoopla, and a lot of people are sick of it. And I think that it's time to, for people who really want a good laugh, I think this is a perfect target.
You haven't been sick of it until your radio station gives away 100 of them. That's one of the craziest things we ever did. We gave away 100 Cabbage Patch dolls on this radio station, and we had people calling us and begging us at all hours of the day, trying to persuade us if there was just some way we could please give them one of those dolls. We kept saying, well, no, here's how the rules work. And no. I mean, we have to get one for Christmas. So I'm with you. I'm about ready to put them all under.
Well, if people want to, I'd like to see if people would like this book too, and I'm sure if some radio station would want to give away these books, we can.
No, please don't start with the giveaways again. Listen, thanks very much for being with us, and we look for the book in the bookstores next week.
Well, thank you very much, Chris.
Okay, Mike. Mike Marine of Chevy Chase, who's written the book 101 Ways to Get Rid of Your Lettuce Head Doll.